Here to do some bear hunting. This place is it's owned by a buddy of mine. We were roommates in the Marine Corps back when I was in the infantry, and I come up here and I'll help him on his property. He runs this as an outfit joint for some trout fishing, and the real reason I'm here is because I'm preparing a sermon to preach at church. And generally when I preach at church, I like to get away to the wilderness. It's a place where I can feel the presence of God in a special way, and it gets me really in tune and focused. So I'm going to be preparing a sermon up here. I just so happen to also have bear tag. So this is going to be more luxury type hunting. Definitely no backcountry hunt. That just helps me be a lot more organized. This is what I'm hunting with on this trip. So it being bear season where I'm at, I can hunt with any method. I'm doing archery, kind of. I grew up doing traditional bow hunting, longbow recurve. That's still my preferred way to hunt. I rifle hunt, so I muzzleload, I do everything. But I got approved a few years back for my state's disabled crossbow tag through my VA injuries, my VA rating, right? And so I got approved for this. You need a special permit in the state I'm in to hunt with this. I hunted with it last year. It's a lot of fun. I prefer to traditional bow hunt. I've killed a lot of deer and turkey and different things with traditional bow methods, but I was looking forward to traditional bow hunting on this trip, but I also got a work injury recently to my hand, and I haven't been able to practice pulling back a string. And that's one thing for any of you guys that have never traditional bow hunted before or just done archery. It takes a lot of practice. So I elected this year, at least for bear season, until my hand gets fully recovered, I'm going to hunt with this 10-point crossbow. Man, this place is sweet. So the public land is up here. You see how thick these woods are. The landscape up where we're going, up at the top of this mountain, is super dense vegetation. So the methods that we're going to be using aren't your general spot and stalk. We're essentially going to be looking for sign, and I've done scouting before, so I know some of the general areas, but these bears, they really move. So the plan this morning is we're gonna get up towards some of these ridges. And there's a few meadows up here that I want to glass. I've shot a bear on one of them before. So I know there's bears in here. I think we just need to put in the time. Skeeters. Hear that?
That's a bear.
Dude, these skeeters are crazy. So the only way to know if it's actually bear poop is to taste it. So try it and let me know how it is. There we go. So I've scouted this area before. There's game trails coming from everywhere into this meadow. My buddy used to have this as a food plot, but they haven't taken care of it in I think a couple years. But I've had cameras set up on this food plot, and everything from deer, elk, moose, bear, mountain lion, all kinds of stuff are coming out in this area. And so if we're gonna hunker down, get away from the skeeters, this is about as good a spot as it gets. We'll see what happens. My buddy built these blinds, or this stand. It's really nice, and they have this heavy glass that you can pull down. It gets really cold up here, but last year I was hunting up here, and there's no service up here unless I got FirstNet for first responders, so I do now. But I didn't have that set up before. And I was finishing up behind me, I was pulling that down. And as I'm pulling it down, that glass just separated in half like that. Just how it is. This left side, see how heavy that is? This left side fell to the right. And my hand was up like this. And hit this piece right here. Blade. It fell onto my right wrist, right here, and it rested right there, and blood started dripping down, and I was like, oh no, like it fell like that. It didn't slice, so it didn't slice my tendon, it didn't slice an artery or anything, but like, it stopped there, and I was trying to be really careful to not let it go any further. So I got pretty fortunate, but I always carry a med kit with me, and so I just I've done some other videos on this, the Warrior Boa Society ankle kit. It's just like an eye pack. I like how this collapses. It's in my back. Right now I got the ETQ wide in here. I normally carry a cat, but I put the cat tourniquet that is normally in here on a guy that ended up shooting himself in the leg. A couple weeks ago, we were on a range and this guy decided it'd be a good idea to violate the safety brief and the weapon safety rules of, and he kept his finger on the trigger when he decided to holster and popped himself in the leg. And so now I'm carrying this tourniquet and it fits much better. Med gear when you're hunting. Very, very important. Another situation where a lot of hunters end up getting in a pretty hairy medical situation is when they're quartering out whatever they shoot. Especially when guys they cut open the chest cavity and they're scooping out the guts. And they're sticking their knife up in there and moving the gut back out of the way with their hand, trying to cut that out or cut out some tenderloins, up there and where you can't see very good. And a lot of guys end up cutting their hands really bad or their wrists. So that's another situation where it's good to have a smaller blade knife. Nothing this morning. We're gonna go ahead and head on out, grab some grub, and we'll come back out this afternoon. We've full on and just embraced the stand hunting at this point. So we're gonna commit to it and just see if one will come to us. Creeping our way back to the stand. And I was telling my buddy filming about probably my favorite hunter of all time, Howard Hill. His prime was about like the 1930s. And he has one of my favorite quotes when it comes to hunting. And this guy, he was a traditional bow hunting legend, like the greatest of all time. One of the things that he said that has always stuck with me since I read his book, Hunting the Hard Way, is my favorite hunting book. And he says, walk little, look much. And I thought of that because there's been so many times as I've been hunting where I'm trying to get somewhere quick and I jump something and I bust something that I would have been happy shooting. And I ruined it because I was moving too fast. So it's always worth giving yourself a little extra time and moving nice and slow. Perfect example of all the predators we have here. This is the most outdoorsman thing ever, having an iPad and a tree stand. But like I said before, the whole point of me being here is I'm preparing for a sermon, and this is where I hear the voice of God in a very special and unique way. And what better way to pass the time? I can kill two birds with one stone. So yeah, just dialing things in right now, going over my notes. Loudest thing ever. Eyes like sights. That's a death mode. He went way up there. I hit him good. I was debating on whether to shoot him or not. I'm pretty certain it was a boar, but I don't think it's very old. It's not a real big bear, but I decided I was going to shoot any okay boar, at least because the bears are such a problem here. And I also got 2 bear tags, so. Well, we got one, he's down. I heard him crash over there, so now I got a good hit on him. Time to celebrate. So, if you don't know what these are, these, my friend, are the Vigilance Elite gummy bears. So it's Sean Ryan's gummy bears. Nothing like eating some gummy bears after shooting a real one. There's bear poop all in this meadow, and we were gonna post up somewhere else, but with how thick the skeeters were, it was a no-brainer. My buddy said we could use this, but I didn't want to. I wanted to. Either way, I'm glad we did. There's poop all over through here, so it's really a no-brainer. Let's go find him. these moments right here are when it's a good peace of mind to have a sidearm. I'm carrying my Glock 10 mil. So we gave him a decent amount of time, but still, I'm going up on a wounded bear. Especially when it's this thick, you can't see more than a couple yards away at times. It's a boar. Heck yeah. I know a lot of people, they don't like bear meat. I know you need to cook it well done, you know, more than like deer, elk, or whatever. But I personally, I really like bear meat, and I can't really tell much difference between it and beef, you know, to a point. Even my fiance, she never grew up hunting or anything. And, you know, as we were dating, she'd come over and I'd make burgers and food, and I would never tell her it was bear, deer, elk, whatever. And she never knew the difference. And I told her later. And she knowingly eats bear meat all the time now. So I'm going to quarter this thing up and bring the meat home. Look at that. That was the entrance right there.
Some of that skill in there.
Oh, and money, dude.
That other one was.
Already got it disconnected. Good chunk. Backstrap. This could be a cool picture. Bone sticking out of this one. And then what I want to do is I want to put the head here. That's a cool looking pack, huh? Okay, got my knife. Perfect, dude.